elections favored opposition candidates to the disadvantage of incumbent, fueling the anti-establishment debate. Well, that has not really been the case in 2017. At least we can speak of Rwanda and Kenya in the African context. Well, what happens in Germany as incumbent Angela Merkel works to hold on to the chancellorship, a post she has held for 11 years? It's Wednesday, and in our cross over to our partner DW in Germany for what's happening in Europe, we look at what the polls are saying about Germany's incumbent Angela Merkel and her main contender Martin Schulz. Well, in the wake of the Dieselgate scandal. Political correspondent with the DW, Thomas Sparrow, joins me all the way from Germany as usual. Well, Thomas, it's good to have you once again. First, tell us how the campaigns
Nice to be there, Gifty.
Right. First, tell us how the campaigns are going and the correspondent polls on the two main contenders.
Well, the final phase of the campaign has started. In fact, the most important phase, the election, is in just over a month on September 24th. And if we look at the recent polls, we can see that Angela Merkel's party, the Conservative Bloc, CDU-CSU, is clearly ahead of the Social Democrats, the candidate of the Social Democrats being Martin Schulz. The Conservatives have around 39% of voting intention, whereas the Social Democrats are on 24%. And when people were asked whether they wanted a change of government, a majority said that they still wanted the Conservative Bloc, Angela Merkel's party, to lead the next government. The big question, however, is what happens with the other parties that are fighting for this campaign. We have three parties on 8%. That's the Populist Alternative for Germany, the Liberal FDP and the Greens. And these smaller parties are particularly important because in Germany you don't have a system where, like in the United States, the winner takes it all. Here in Germany, after the elections, parties have to sit down and try to form coalitions, and it is there where it will be important to see which party forms a coalition with which party after the September 24 elections. So from that perspective, although we can see that Angela Merkel's party is clearly ahead, we can't say now for sure what the next government will look like.
Well, there have also been major issues within the automobile industry, for example, and that has had an impact. Give us a brief background to the Dieselgate scandal and the response that it has attracted even in this political season.
It has indeed been one of the biggest topics of the summer. In fact, before the summer, it was also a big topic. A few days ago, we had a diesel summit here in Berlin where politicians and car bosses agreed to upgrade the software of around 5 million diesel cars. Many people here are still concerned that this may not be enough. And just to give you a context, this is a particularly important topic here in Germany, not only because the automobile industry in Germany is absolutely vital. It gives hundreds of thousands of jobs, and it's also recognized worldwide, but also because Germany is a country with very high environmental standards, and there's a lot of concern about the possible pollution caused by these diesel cars. But as you say, the Dieselgate scandal, as it has been called, has had a political impact. In fact, many people believe politicians have been too lenient towards the auto industry. A lot of people think that this could have long-term effects on the German economy, and many people also say, and this was perhaps surprising when we found out this poll, that many people believe that politicians put the interests of the auto industry above, for example, public health or environmental concerns. And this was something that was reflected in the personal approval ratings of various politicians here in Germany. Among others, obviously, Angela Merkel. She had a 10 percentage point drop in her personal approval ratings. And according to analysts, according to the people who also conducted the poll, this might have to do with the fact that she was not so present during this Dieselgate scandal, in particular during this diesel summit a few days ago. Many people criticizing that she was on holiday and that she has preferred to have a sort of low-key approach to politics. Other politicians in Germany also suffered in their personal approval ratings, and many people say that in their cases it also has to do with this Dieselgate scandal.
Let's look at the last time what we spoke about. You did mention that the more internationally oriented the issue is, the more advantage there is for the incumbent Angela Merkel, whose campaign has also commented on the racial controversy in the United States. That issue is quite big. How has that been used by both sides in the last minute of the campaigns?
It is indeed a big topic, and it's also a topic that politicians, not only Angela Merkel or Martin Schulz, but other politicians obviously commented on, rejecting far-right violence and extremism, saying that those things have to be fought irrespective of the place, irrespective of the country. Germany has also had big problems in that respect. But if we look at the United States as in general, you can see that the United States has played a very important role in this campaign, not only because of the relationship between Donald Trump and Angela Merkel, but also because of the content, because of the topics that are being discussed. One very important topic, for example, in Germany is defense spending. Germany has committed to try and reach until 2024 that 2% of the GDP in defense spending for NATO. That's something that, for example, Donald Trump has put a lot of pressure on for allies of the US to try and increase their military expenditures. But, for example, the Social Democrats have criticized that. They're saying that basically that means that Angela Merkel is subordinating herself to Donald Trump, and that instead of arming Germany, instead of increasing military expenditures like Donald Trump is requesting, they would, for example, put that money on education or health or social care. So this has become indeed a very important topic in recent days, this aspect of the military expenditure, but also everything that has to do with the United States as well.
Interesting. Finally, before I let you go, it's interesting how politicians, you know, take the issues and play around it to suit them. What has been the strategies for these two main contenders going forward, even as you near the day for the election in Germany?
Angela Merkel is obviously trying to present her key ideas, trying to defend her record as Chancellor, but she has also, in a way, tried to avoid any big controversy that could affect, for example, that comfortable lead that she has in the polls. She wants to keep those issues as low as possible without creating any trouble, without causing that, for example, some of the voters of the other parties will say, well, now we have to really rally and try and go to the polls. They want to try and keep it rather low, but obviously trying to focus on the topics that are important to the Conservatives, and also, as we spoke about last week, focusing on these international aspects where she obviously has the advantage of being the leader of Germany and being able to talk with all the international leaders as well. On the other hand, Martin Schulz obviously understands that he has to attack, that he has to present his ideas. We've seen plenty of press conferences in recent days, television interviews where he has tried to present his proposals and his ideas, where he has tried to grab as many headlines as he can, because his main goal is obviously to try and reduce the gap between the Conservative bloc and the Social Democrats, although for him time seems to be running out because, as I mentioned at the beginning, we've only got 4 or 5 weeks until the election on September 24th.
Right. All right. We'll see how it goes. Thank you very much, Thomas, there from all the way from Germany. Thomas Sparrow, the political correspondent with our partner DW, bringing us up to speed on what's happening. And this is our weekly round of information, mostly politics, from across Europe.